Welcome to the Average Coder community. In this C# tutorial, we are going to learn what is if operator and switch operator. And in addition, we are going to learn what is and or operators. Let's begin from if operator. So first let's talk about what it is and why do we need it. So let's imagine a situation in which you have to have different solutions depending on the condition. So let's imagine that you're going to go for a walk and it's rainy outside. So then you're going to take your umbrella with you. But if it isn't rainy, then you don't have to take your umbrella in this situation. And to handle a situation like it, if operator is really great. So to write if operator, let's write if brackets. Between brackets, you're going to put your condition. So if condition is true, then it's going to execute code between these curly brackets, right? If it's false, then it's going to skip code between these curly brackets. So let's create a variable integer and let's call it g, and g is equal. We already know how to print data out, but let's learn how to actually get data from console. So console read, and it's going to ask user to enter the data and store it inside G. But and if G is equal, remember what I said in previous tutorial? This puts the value inside of the variable and this compares, so pay attention to it. It's maybe confusing, but yeah, it's pretty often mistake to put only one character except for two instead of two. So G equals 3, then we go into G++, increase it by 1, and after it we are going print it in console. So after it, let's print G. So if G equals 3, then it's going to add 2. It's going to add 1 to 3, so it will be 4, and then it's going to print it in console. So let's run this code. So as you may see, nothing happened. But why it is so? It's actually really simple. As you remember, you can't store variables with different data types. So this thing returns string. So to ask for, let's to insert it, and let's put it between these brackets. So it should work right now. So as you may see, if we run this code, then we're going to have printed 4. But if we put another number like 5, it's not gonna be printed out. So yeah, because the condition will be false, and it's not going to execute code between curly brackets if condition is false. But what if you want to print something another if condition is false? So to do it, let's write else and put curly brackets again. So if this condition is false, then it's going to execute code between these brackets. If condition is true, then it's going to execute code between these brackets. So else, and let's go g minus minus and console right line g. So let's run it. 3, as you may see, we have 4 again, but if we run with number 2, then we're going to get 1, because 2 is not equal 3, then it's going to skip these brackets and execute code between these brackets. Right? I hope it makes sense. Sometimes you may want to do more than only 2 things. So for example, if g is higher than 3, so we can do it with else if. And we might put inside this brackets another condition. So let's just say if g higher than 3. So let's run it. Let's put inside 3. As you may see, we have 4 again. But now let's put 5. Nothing going to happen because I haven't written code between these brackets. So let's just console write a line and just g. Let's run again and put 5 between, and as you may see, it's going to print the 5. So it's checking if g equals 3. If it's not, then it's going to check this part. If it's higher than 3, then this is going to execute code between these curly brackets, and if this condition is false too, then it's going to execute code between these curly brackets, right? I hope you can understand it. So you may put else ifs as much as you want. You may put hundreds, thousands of them. So else if, yeah, and another condition, we put like g not equal 1. Yeah, and then it's going to write g plus 2. So yeah, let me explain what these operators are doing. So right, let's move right over here. So if you have g plus plus, as you remember, it's going to g, it's equal g plus 1. But sometimes you want to do it but with another different number, so like 5. And if you want to do it, then you put just equal and 2, and this, sorry, 5. This equals this. If you change this number to 7, then you're going to have 7 in here. And you may change it to multiply, divide, minus, so it will be so it's going to change this thing too. So this equals this. I hope it makes sense. Yes, so it's going to add to g plus 2 and store it inside of the g. So if we write 2, for example, then you're going to get 4, because 2 is not equal 3, it skips this. 2 is not higher than 3, then it skips it, and it's not equal 1. So it's going to execute code between it and add 2 to the g. Right. So in addition to if operator, I'm going to add more, 2 more operators, and it's going to be if it's going to be operator and operator or. So int x equal convert to insert it to console read line, and it's going to require 2 variables now. And let's work with operator and. So let's compare. If g is higher than x, then it's going to print g higher than x. Else it's going to print by the way, if you have only 1 line in code, then you don't have to put curly brackets, so it will execute only 1 line after the if. And if you put right here anything else, then it's going to be executed anyway, because it won't be considered as thing between curly brackets to if. So yeah, and you can do the same thing with else. Console write line, g is less than x. So let's do it. Sorry, I missed one curly. I deleted 1 curly bracket from main function. Let's try it again. So let's put 2 and 3. So 2 is less than x. Then this condition is false, and it executes this else and executes this line. If we put line right over here, like console write line, it's going to be executed anyway. It doesn't matter is g higher or less than 4. Yeah, as you may see, it's going to be executed anyway. If we run it again and put 4 and 5, it's still going to be executed anyway, because it's second line after the else operator or if operator, if we delete else. Right. So, right, and operators. So if you may put higher or equal x, but we're going to do it another way. And let's put operator and g equals x. Oh, let's write an operator and put g equals and g higher than 6. So this code is going to be executed if g is higher than x and g is higher than 6. So it will be executed only if two of the conditions, first condition and its second, are true. So if both of the conditions are true, then it's going to execute this code. If one of the conditions is false, then it's not going to be executed. So let's run it and let's write here, I don't know, g, let's say it's equals 7 and x equals 8, and it's not going to print. G is less than x, but it's higher than 6, so it doesn't going to be executed. But if we run it again and try to put 7 and 6, then it's going to be printed, because G7 is higher than 6, and again 7 is higher than 6. Both of the conditions are true and it will be executed. But you may change it by changing AND operator to the OR operator. So it's OR operator, and it's going to execute this part of the code if one of the both condition is true. So for example, G equals 7 and x equals 10, and it still printed it. Yeah, 7 isn't higher than 10, but 7 is higher than 6. So if you don't want this line be printed, then both of these conditions have to be false. Alright, I hope it makes sense. Alright, now let's talk about switch operator. So work of this operator is kind of similar to the if operator. So let's write switch operator. Switch brackets. Here we going to have the condition, but inside of the if you're putting like G higher than 10 or something like it, but inside switch you are just putting the G. So switch operator works with the value of the variable, and between these brackets you are going to create cases. Case, after case you are putting what value does this variable has to have to execute code inside this case. So we have case, it's beginning of the case, it's the ending of the case, and right over here you can print your values. So if G equals 1, then it's going to execute the code between the beginning of the case and the end of the case. So let's run it. Let's enter 1, and as you may see, it's printed 1. And you may have as much cases as you want. So for example, I don't know, case 10, console write line G plus 2, break, and so now if you run and start with 10, as you might see, we have 12, and so on. So you may execute lots of different code with case. And there is one more thing as default. So if there's no case with that value, then this is going to be executed. So default. Yeah, let's execute it, and let's put 3. As you may see, there is no case with number 3, so it's executed the default, and it's printed word default. And yeah, you may create as many cases as you want, and they don't have to be only numbers. You can put characters, for example, like A or C. Then let's just go right. To char. Yeah, so let's write A, and it printed A. So if you are running C, it's going to print C, and yeah, as you may see, it's gonna work that way. So case number doesn't have to be only number. You can use characters and so on. I think that's all what I need to say for this tutorial. So if you liked it, then don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment down below. See ya, bye.